For the longest, I struggled to be like, oh, I'm a hairstylist, but I was working for one of the most powerful families in the world.
Yene Damtew is a powerhouse in the beauty industry, a celebrity hairstylist, salon owner, and educator, redefining what it means to care for textured hair. She's the longtime hairstylist for former First Lady Michelle Obama, President Barack Obama, and has also worked with icons like Tracee Ellis Ross. Through her artistry and business leadership, she's reshaping how we think about beauty, identity, and the power of representation.
That inauguration look went viral.
Everybody was on Twitter. My phone is blowing up. My emails are blowing up. I'm like, what is going on? What happened? I always thought it was just going to be a side hustle. I didn't think it could actually take me everywhere that it's taking me. My main thing is like helping my clients really love and embrace whatever texture that they have. We have to be sensitive to understand that 95% of the clients that are coming into our salon have some type of hair trauma.
What's a red flag for a hairstylist? Like they do this, I probably don't want to go there.
Not your hair is a red flag for me.
What's your most controversial take on natural hair?
I think that
A hair trend that needs to die. The single most important thing you can do for healthy hair.
One thing that makes your hair grow the fastest.
The thing that's damaging your hair without you even realizing it. One hair hill you are willing to die on.
does not grow your edges.
A lot of people are gonna feel,
I don't care. I stand by that.
Was there ever a time where Mrs. Obama maybe wanted to go natural during her time at the White House?
Well, she
Yene Damtew, welcome to the group chat.
woo woo.
It has been a long time. Y'all, I have fought for this.
Yeah.
And now.
Don't do that. We're not starting like that.
This is what happens when you have a friend who's big time. You don't act big time. I don't mean that in that way. But like, man, you are all over the place doing big things. You have your salon. I've been your client for 11 years. 11 years.
2019, when we first started talking about the podcast,
Yeah.
like your name was on the top of the list. I'll show you the document.
But you guys remember, you guys did a live or something,
Yes.
and I came on it with you guys.
Yes!
Way, wow.
2020.
Way back. It was like before the podcast
Okay.
came.
Okay.
So
it's
don't
true.
do that.
Oh,
Don't
It
do
is
that.
true.
I remember.
Damn.
I remember
Yeah.
these things.
And that's when we were in the thick of like just hair stuff. Oh my gosh, from going in being in the business to where we are now. So for people who don't know of you, how would you describe yourself? Because educator, hairstylist, all the things.
Yeah, I'm a hair enthusiast. I love all things hair. I am a salon owner. I'm an educator, but my main thing is like helping my clients really love and embrace whatever texture that they have, and teach them how to maintain it and keep it healthy, thrive, and grow to get whatever it is that they're looking to achieve.
How'd you get into this industry?
Loaded question.
Yeah.
So I started doing hair at the age of like, there's videos of me at the age of like 2 playing with dolls and like in the corner, brushing and combing my doll's hair. And it was always like a reoccurring thing. My family loves to give me all the family footage now. At the age of 16, decided to go to hair school. But prior to that, by 7th grade, I was the neighborhood braider. So I did everybody's hair in the neighborhood in the early 90s. You know, everybody was wearing braids, early 2000s. So Sunday mornings, my mother used to always put hot rollers in her hair, put a shower cap on, go in the shower, and come out. She'd have these big, beautiful, bouncy curls. And I never understood what it was going on. I was like, why is her hair transforming? And so it really sparked an interest. And at the age of 16, enrolled in cosmetology school and kind of been rocking with the journey and experience ever since.
I love.
Did you find that it was just like clicked immediately? You felt that you...
I always knew that I wanted to do hair, but it took a lot of time and confidence within myself to figure out I could do this full time. A lot of what society tells us, I'm a child of immigrants, parents also tell us like you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to have this traditional educational trajectory in your life, and doing hair wasn't a respected thing. So I always thought it was just going to be a side hustle. I didn't think it could actually take me everywhere that it's taking me.
So what did your
by-day engineer at night just doing hair?
Yeah. What did your parents say when you said this is what I want to do?
It was a mixed situation. I dropped out of college when I relocated to DC to really pursue hair. And they were like, okay, fine, figure it out. If this is what you're going to do, you have to figure it out on your own. Like, we're not going to take care of you. We're not gonna be by your side to be like, okay, we're gonna just let you move across the country and we're gonna fund your life. Because it was one of those things that was sort of, they thought I was stepping out on faith, and it was a hobby that I was turning into reality. But can I really sustain my life? And if something happened. You know, one of the things that I was thinking about is I physically use my body to work every day.
Yeah.
And if something was to happen to me, if something was to happen to my hands, how would I then sustain? How would I then be able to like make ends meet? And my parents, that was really the point that they were really trying to make, rather than saying, oh, you're not good enough, or that this isn't the right career path for you. It's just, what is your backup plan? You know, growing up as first generation Ethiopian American, and my parents left Ethiopia at young ages to come here for college and to provide us with a better life. For them, they were always taught, and they didn't know any better than to think that doing hair was just a hobby.
Yeah.
And so it was just the same type of thing they were trying to pass on to me.
Yeah.
So I want to know, early on, what do you remember about your early relationship with your hair?
Early relationship with hair was interesting. I grew up in Orange County, so I grew up in a predominantly white and Asian neighborhood. And it wasn't until I was in high school, my freshman year, when I was a cheerleader, the only Black girl on the cheer team, and they would tell us to do our hair in these like different hairstyles. They'd be like, oh, we just could throw some water on it and it'll be like crinkly. And I said, my hair doesn't do that. My hair didn't do the things that my counterparts or my classmates' hair did. And so it was very early on that I realized my hair was different, because everyone around me had different hair. But it wasn't until like that moment that I realized like why it was different, and that no one else understood how different my hair was from theirs.
I wonder, like for Dominicans, texturism is a whole thing.
Not just for Dominicans.
Right. So
Not
I'm
just for
wondering,
Dominicans.
what is it? What was it like for you at home? Like, was your hair, you know, something that was praised and complimented and that type of thing?
Yeah.
Just all kinds of hair
my
types?
my mother had beautiful hair, and my brother had the good hair between the two of us. Like, he had the texture that was closer to my mom, that had the big ringlet curls when he grew his hair out. For me, growing up, Sundays was wash day, like many Black little girls around the world. Sunday was my wash day. I would get my hair braided. It'd either go into pigtails with like twist and some barrettes in it, or it would be in cornrows. And that was really my look for a majority of my childhood. And so there was never a conversation, I think, because my mother, particularly who did my hair, was an immigrant. She didn't understand, like, she wasn't raised with like good hair, bad hair.
Yeah.
She didn't hear that as much. There is it, like, everyone looks at like Ethiopian women and they have these beautiful curls. I don't have that. I don't have that texture of hair, but I still love my hair for what it is and what it can do.
I was telling Jeanette that part of the reason is because East Africa, like both Ethiopia and Somalia, were homogenous communities. A lot of us look alike, whereas Dominicans run the gamut.
Yeah.
You can have a white Dominican, a Black Dominican, straight hair, curly hair.
In the same family. Yeah.
In the same family. And so I could see that being different, but that's not to say that texturism doesn't exist, because there will be people who are like, no, the minute you have a tighter curl pattern, you're going to feel that.
Exactly. And, you know, for me, I always tell people, I'm like, oh, when people are like, oh, they don't think that I'm Ethiopian just by looking at me.
Why?
A lot of people think I'm East African. And I'm like, that's cool. But I don't have the stereotypical curls. I have a big forehead. It's not like super big, but I don't have like predominant East African features. And really what a lot of people remember is the big curly hair. And so since I don't have that, they're like, oh, okay, that's not you. So, yeah.
So what stories have you heard then about people when they come to your salon? Because you're a very big advocate for natural hair, but you also like come from a place of you want people to love it no matter what their texture is. It's like, let this be the best part of you, or like the best version of your hair that we can get. And so I want to know what kind of stories that you've heard with people in their relationship growing up and things that they've heard.
A number of things. I mean, Jeanette and I, we've talked about this.
Exhibit A.
There's so many people that grow up thinking that there is this version of good hair and bad hair. And my philosophy is healthy hair is good hair. Whether it is looser curl, tighter curl, wavy straight, anything in between, as long as your hair is healthy, then your hair is considered good in my eyes. But clients come in and they say, oh, my hair can't do that, or I can't just wear my hair in a wash and go, or my curls aren't pretty, or they're not as easy to manage. And there are these words that I think society has placed upon the textured hair community, where we say good, presentable, manageable, easy. Like we like to use these words in anything that isn't, you know, we just put a comb in it and comb it through, that there is challenge. So therefore, if there's challenge, it means that it's not good.
It's so interesting because I learned with you, like growing up, I went to Dominican salons, and there was always this anxiety around me visibly seeing them struggling with my hair and being frustrated about it. For me, my moment when I realized I didn't have good hair was my sister, similar to your brother, has the preferred hair. We were both sitting down in the salon chair, and I was like 7 years old, and they were fighting over who was going to do my hair, and I didn't really understand why. And then the one who got stuck with my hair, I remember she was just pissed off. So she's combing my hair, and she breaks the comb, and I'm almost like ashamed that my hair broke her comb. Yeah. And I remember at the end when we were both done, they like laid my sister's hair out because it was really long across the back of the chair. And it was like in admiration. And for me, it was just like, okay. And that's when I was like, oh, there's a difference. So it's funny, you don't grow up thinking this. It's something that society ends up telling you, and it's up to you whether or not you internalize it. So I wonder for you, how do you deprogram what's been people who've been conditioned sometimes their entire life? How do you do that?
It's having a conversation, and really it goes back to education, right? Majority of what we think about ourselves is because of the pressures of society. It's because somebody else told us that. It's like we think that we don't look good, or we think that we've gained too much weight, or we think that we should be this small, or we should be this large, or we need this or that, or we have to have long hair. The pressures of society of what the standard of beauty is. And realistically, the standard of beauty for centuries and for decades has been made in the image of our white counterparts. Therefore, we want straight, and we want long, and we want blonde, and we want silky and shiny. And naturally, our hair does not do those things as textured clients. So as you have this conversation and you tell your client like, hey, you can have this with your own version. Just like the makeup that you're picking up for you is going to be very different. You're still going to put concealer on. You're still going to put foundation on, but it's going to be different for you, even amongst the two of you guys. And your textures are very different. All three of us sitting here have very different textures of hair. And it's about telling your client, for me, like the biggest thing is just educating them on how to manage their hair and what tools and what products will help make that more efficient and easier for them at home, because that's what it comes down to.
I'm curious, the natural hair movement, has that been a net positive or negative when it comes to Black hair?
Both. I think it's definitely a net positive because you have seen an influx in natural hair products. There haven't been, when I was growing up, and I'm sure similar to you all, when you guys grew up, and we all grew up in very different places, there was an aisle and there within the hair aisle, there was a shelf for textured hair products, right? For products that we'd be like, we know we go right here and we'll get something that works for our hair. The natural hair movement has made more beauty brands aware of the fact that there's so many different textures, and it has made consumers have more available products to them. So we're a little more educated and we have more access to more products. So there's the positive side of it. The negative side of it is that there's some people, like the natural hair community, there's the natural hair girl who is the natural straight, and then there's a natural hair girl who just does not put heat on their hair. So there's a little bit of divisiveness even within the natural hair movement. And so if you straighten your hair, but you're not putting a chemical on it, are you truly natural? It's like, yes, I am. I'm just altering it for this moment, but it will go back with natural curl.
I was gonna ask you where you stand, but you just said it, but also like, how do you feel about straightening hair in general?
Look, I straighten my hair 85 to 90% of the time. My hair is straight. One, because I'm able to put extensions in it to give it a little more fullness. I'm able to put it up into a ponytail easier, and my hair lengthwise isn't where I would want it to be to wear it curly because of the shrinkage, right? Because it draws back. So that's my personal preference, but I'm all for someone wearing their natural curls. My main thing is being able to have the ability to go back and forth. So making sure that you're not using excessive heat or chemicals that are going to straighten out your hair.
Real quick, what is heat damage and is it reversible?
Heat damage is not reversible.
It's called heat training.
That's a whole nother conversation about this heat training. Like the people want to talk about the press and curl Marcel irons versus the flat iron and like heat train versus heat curls. There is a little bit of heat training, right? Like hair works on memory. So the more you straighten your hair, the more you blow dry it, the more you put a flat iron to it or curling iron to it, it is going to elongate. Your curl will elongate, but there is going to be elongation in your curls. If you have so much elongation in your curls that is straight, baby girl, is damaged. It's not coming back.
So I gotta cut it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, we gotta give it a moment of silence.
Just cut it.
I feel like she comes back and is like, the blow dryer, heat damage. And I'm like, is her hair more susceptible to heat damage?
My hair, like, it sees a flat iron coming and it's like, that's it. I give up. We're done.
I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. One, I think that it depends on the type of flat iron or curling iron that you're using. My favorite is always ceramic. I think that the ceramic iron is the best.
Why is that, real quick?
Because of the heat distribution, the inside out heat distribution versus the outside in. The material, titanium spreads heat faster. And if you were to put it onto a white piece of paper and you put it on, the consistency of the heat from when you initially make contact to the hair versus when you make it further down, it's not the same distribution. So you keep going over it over and over again. The other thing with like a ceramic iron, it's similar to an orange peel. That's what I like to say. It has grooves in it, although it's smooth. So the same hair will not get the same amount of heat every single time because there's little ridges and grooves.
Oh, I gotta switch it out. Because I did notice a difference and I felt like with ceramic, my hair just responded better. And I'm using titanium right now. But I do want to talk about, and I asked you about how you feel about straight hair. Because to me, it's like my relationship with my curls has changed throughout the years, but like, I just don't like wearing I don't like how I look with my hair curly. I don't subscribe to like when people say, for other people, like I wouldn't say, oh, you need to straighten your hair for a formal event. But personally, I'm gonna straighten my hair for a formal event. You know what I mean? So it's like, are you open to hearing that or
I'm absolutely open to hearing that. I think it goes back to your comfort, right? Your hair is so much a part of your identity and the way that you present and whether or not you feel good or you don't feel good about yourself. So I just said to you, I prefer to wear my hair straight if I'm doing something where I have to look polished or presentable or whatever word I want to use that either society has taught me or that I believe from myself, I will do that. I'm totally okay with wearing my hair curly. I can have a curly look and it could be polished, it could be beautiful, it could be presentable, but for certain occasions, I would like to make my hair straight because I don't want to have to explain my hair. I don't want my hair to be a conversation. And I think more than anything, women of color have always felt that their hair is a part of the conversation and they don't want to make it a part of the conversation. They just want to be.
What's your most controversial take on natural hair?
Ooh, most controversial take. I think that there is an idea that if the texture typing, right? So like there's type A, like 4A, 4B, 4C, there's type 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that there's this misconception that all type 4C hair looks and feels the same. And I think that there is a curl pattern that you have to pay attention to and the characteristics of it, but then there's density. And that really changes the way. So everybody thinks if you have 4C hair, I need a flat iron that is extremely hot and that's the only way I'm gonna get my hair straight. No. Is it soft? Is it fine? What are the diameters? How dense? How much hair is actually on your head? That's going to be the differentiating factor.
It's interesting, like as you and I have talked over the years, you notice more and more the difference between someone like you, who's not only just trained, but you're constantly educating yourself, and others who are educating based on their personal hair experience. How much harm do you think that does when it comes to the hair conversation, if at all?
Look, I think that there's a place for us to coexist. I think that the majority of people that are educating or influencing, rather, I would say, based off of their own experience is based off of their own experience. And I think simply just saying, this is what works for me, will change the way that a follower or consumers will take into account whatever they're hearing from this person. For me, I am a hairstylist. I am a licensed cosmetologist. I am trained in all types of hair. I do research. I do studying. I continue to educate myself and understand, and I'm working with multiple textures of hair. So I would be able to look at you and say, okay, for Jeanette, this is what I'm going to use, and for Mona, this is what I'm going to use versus what I'm going to use for myself. I have that trained eye. This is my area of expertise. If you, for example, Jeanette, are just sharing like, this is what works for me, someone could look at your hair and not really understand the density, what your curls look like when your hair is wet if you haven't shown them that. So they're going to think that that product works for them. So therefore, yes, we could coexist. We need you to educate the masses about the different products that are out there, but it needs to be rooted in like, this is what works for me. I've talked to my hairstylist and this is what she recommends as well. And I'm not the salon owner that believes that everyone has to live in the salon. I say, go to the salon at least twice a year. If you prefer to do your hair because you have hair trauma or salon trauma, cool. Just have someone look in your hair at least twice a year. I prefer at least quarterly, but the bare minimum, twice a year.
One thing you do really well, real quick, she'll be like, you drinking enough water? You taking enough iron? Like she's able to
Iron.
tell.
I would run out of the house because listen, you would clock me on the iron every single time.
But you're able to identify like a trained person can't do that.
A trained person can do that.
I'm sorry, a trained person who's not trained can't do that.
An untrained person. That's the difference. You know, thankfully, the cosmetology industry is a licensedly regulated industry, and we have licenses for that reason.
Yeah.
And this is what sets us apart. And it's extremely important that we realize that as consumers, and that people like myself are out here saying these types of things and are able to share that, especially on social media. I try to show that so people understand, like, you can go to your friend or to this amazing stylist that does hair at home or for this specific thing, but you also have to have a trained licensed professional in your repertoire so that they can make sure that whatever you're doing elsewhere isn't causing damage.
I do want to talk about the Instagram hairstylist, right? For lack of better words, because I feel like it was born out of a need, right? Where Black women do live in the salon sometimes, and we tend to get our hair done more often. And it's harder to find that in the traditional salon setting, someone who could do your hair. But Lord, the appointment times, the
Have your hair washed, blow
cancellation.
dried, flat ironed before you come in.
That's not a licensed professional. That shouldn't be a licensed professional because by law, we are required to shampoo your hair. I had a client come in the other day for a consultation, a trial for her wedding. And she was like, I already washed my hair. And I said, thank you. That was really kind of you. I'm rewashing your hair because I don't want to touch your hair for sanitation reasons because I don't know what is in your scalp. And I can't then put heat on your hair and then you say that I caused heat damage or something went wrong and I'm not in control and I can't trace back what I've done.
So what's a red flag for a hairstylist? Like they do this, I probably don't want to go there. Or they're requiring this.
Not shampooing your hair is a red flag for me. Come shampooed is a red flag for me. I'll pay extra. It's an extra charge. That isn't a problem because maybe it's a time constraint. So there's that. But come with your hair washed, that's a red flag for me. I have mixed feelings on my book opens on 5 p.m. on the third Wednesday of the month, and it's only available for the next 30 days. I understand why that exists because there is boundaries. And I think that a lot of consumers don't understand how much clients infringe on our personal lives, and there are no boundaries, especially now because you have access to our social media, you have access to our phone number, and if we don't respond as quickly, there's like this 24-hour we need to be available to you. So I do understand why stylists have those boundaries, but I also think that there needs to be some flexibility. It's a give and take, and it's not, to me, I just feel, and it's different because I have a salon and I have a team and I have more support. Right. So this is where my stance comes from. I understand why people have those boundaries, but sometimes to me, if that's not conducive to your lifestyle, then that's a flag, right? If you have a busy lifestyle or you have a chaotic lifestyle where you can't always plan ahead a month in advance or you can't sit up at night and wait for the booking site to open, then maybe you should find a different stylist. It's not that there's anything wrong with a stylist, it's that stylist doesn't work for you. And that's really the message that I think that a lot of consumers and clients need to understand is that not every stylist is for you. And you aren't for every stylist.
Yeah, it's like a compatibility
It's
thing.
a compatibility, not just on skill set, but on personalities. Like, can we get along? And Jeanette, you've seen this in the salon. And you and I, we have this banter. We're able to go back and forth. Mm-hmm. You know the type of person I am. You know that everything that I'm going to say, even if it's aggressive, it's rooted in love. But if you didn't know me, you could be like, girl, you're rude.
People have like witnessed our back and forth and they're like, oh my gosh.
It's like, you talk to her like that?
Right.
And I'm like, we're friends. I can have this realistic and I know the backstory of her life and I know what's going on with her life. So I could say things to her that won't be offensive to her because she knows that at the end of the day, like we're working towards a goal.
It comes down to being real with someone, both about their expectations for their hair and their goals. Like I've told you, I remember I want to go natural, like I start taking out the weave. And you're like, you can't do this if you don't do that.
Yes. And I also told you that you could do it, but you were just like, it's going to revert. It's going to do this because all of the trauma that you had from childhood was resurfacing. And I think that that's the other part. Stylists, we have to be sensitive to understand that 95% of the clients that are coming into our salon have some type of hair trauma, whether it's from another stylist, whether it's from their families, whether it's from a bad hairdo that they've done to themselves. everybody is bringing some type of trauma because our image is so important to us and how we present and how we feel about ourselves.
Back to the salon things that we're talking about. I do think though there's just a lack of customer service.
Yes.
In the community that I wish was there. Like, I feel like the salon experience, you can correct me.
There is a lack of customer service,
Yeah.
but there is a lot of pressure and demand from clients.
Okay.
Right? So because we live in an era where there's so much information available, we are the only industry where clients are coming in and telling us how to do our job. We are the only industry where clients are coming in and be like, well, I saw so-and-so do this and this person does this and I use this iron and I use this product. And it's like, you aren't even giving me an opportunity to educate you or to inform you. Or you're going to tell me, oh, well, my last hairstylist or the hairstylist that I always use, she does my hair this way. It's like, okay, but I'm not her. You're not giving me that opportunity. And yes, there is a lack of customer service, but there is a lack of respect as well.
I believe that. I do believe it's a two-way street. I think it just as the consumer, it's like, damn, can I get like a glass of champagne when I walk in or something?
But are you willing to pay for that cost?
No,
are
but
you
the
willing
cost
to
is
pay for that?
obnoxious. That's the crazy part. Like they're charging crazy prices and then the lack of customer service is like on the floor.
But I will say this is where like having reference, like having people tell you about their girl who does a good job. I think it limits how many bad experiences you have to be able to go off of something. Like actually Jumi was the one who told me about you because I was visibly struggling on air.
Visibly. But you fought me when you came in. Do you remember that? You fought me when you came in.
What happened?
She was wearing extensions and she had a significant amount of leave out and she was putting excessive heat on that hair because she was on Air Personality.
Yeah.
So she had to be camera ready. Definitely understood that. But I said to her, if you want to do this, we have to put more of your hair in extensions. And she was just like, no. And I'm like, but you have like way all this length back here and all this short hair. And I told her, I was like, you look like a baby ostrich.
I was gonna say a little like a lion because it was just like super like, but okay. No, it's true because looking back on it now, that's why I don't show throwbacks because it's like, ooh, that was a little rough. But it's so interesting because with your stylist, it really is a relationship that blossoms over years. Like the way hair works, you've got to put the time investment in and see the payoff. I wonder, have you ever had, because you've had some stories, a client where you've just said, this isn't going to work?
Yes. I had a client come in and it was one of those situations. We've had issues in the past. Like she was just relatively combative. She came in, she was referred to me by a beauty brand, an extension line that said, I don't think our extensions are the best match for you, but here's an artist that is trained by us that does all types of extension I think would be a better fit. She argued me on the texture. We ended up doing it. She ended up trusting me. It worked out great. But she was under a lot of stress in her life at the moment. And she had undergone surgeries. And because of the surgeries, she was under anesthesia. She had multiple surgeries. Her hair texture was changing. She went into a different stylist. They messed up her color. So when she came back in, I'm like, hey, like, did you go somewhere to get your color done? Because I was trying to understand without saying, you went somewhere and got your color. I don't care that she went somewhere else to get her color done. It's just, you asked me to color your extensions and we were doing a touch-up color and I wanted to get the best results for you. And it ended up her being very combative, like, well, I can't get in as often as I want and you live too far. And it was you. And I said, that's fine. I'm not going to do this back and forth. I'm not going to have you yell at me about the fact that I had a kid and I have boundaries. And if this doesn't work for you and I have a salon with 11 other stylists as alternatives, but you don't want to go to them, you have to take some accountability for this. And again, it's not a problem. It's just, how do we get to the result? Fixed her hair color. I said, come back next week and I'll do the install. And there was a conflict. My son was sick. I was like, hey, my son is sick. I called her 2 days in advance. I was like, he's running a fever. I just don't think I'll be ready. I don't want to take that risk. Left her a voicemail, called her 4 times, sent emails. She didn't check it till the morning of. Ooh. And then it was my fault. Yeah. And I'm like, what else am I supposed to do? And I was like, I just don't think that I'm the best fit for you. And I think that your complaint of us being too far, my communication style not being working for you, not being able to have direct contact with me, having my personal number if you ever have questions about your hair. I don't think that what I'm able to offer you works anymore. And I think it's best that you find someone else. Yeah. And that's okay. And there's seasons too, right? You could start off with someone and it be amazing and then something happened. Just like lives of our clients change, you get promotions. The same thing happens for us as service providers, and it's okay. I think the problem is a lot of us as service providers, we feel like we own our clients, and we have an issue if they see someone else because we try to treat them like they're our property, and they're not. And I think the more stylists start to shift their mindset and to be like, you are providing them with a service that they are paying for, so the experience should be top-notch from A to Z every single time and consistent, then there would be a better reciprocity and rapport between a client and a stylist.
So how do you decenter hair as part of your identity?
You can't.
You can't.
I just don't think you can. It's too much for men and women. I think it's too much of who we are and how we present.
Is it for Black and like everybody? Or?
I think for all. I think for all. But I feel that for the Black community specifically, or people with textured hair specifically, it is more of a focal point because it is such a differentiator. And anything that makes us different, we become insecure about.
Wow.
For both good and bad, right?
Good and bad. We become insecure about it, and it's like, you always are gonna think like, okay, is my hair too big? Or is my hair gonna be a conversation? Or or am I gonna stick out? That's really what it is. Like, how different are you from the group, right? So from color to texture to sex to size, it's all something that we internally struggle with.
I kind of want to use that actually as a segue to one of your clients whose hair was more so than any person in that job, the topic of conversation, former First Lady Michelle Obama. You said you went to DC specifically for her, right?
Yes, I relocated. 2009, I moved to DC.
I want to start from the beginning and then go into like the pivotal role that you've played in her image. How the heck does it come up that did you know that she'd be the client?
Well, yes. So I started working with Ms. Obama as in their household in 2009 by way of Johnny Wright, who was her hairstylist for 8 years while we were in the White House. And I worked with him in California. And when he got the opportunity to relocate to DC to work with her, he asked me to come along to focus primarily on the girls, her daughters, and her mother, Mrs. Robinson. And then I stood in for him whenever he was unavailable. And I knew that was going to be the client because he had told me before I moved, and I initially said no. I said I wasn't going to relocate. I was like, yeah, good luck. That goes back to the whole stories of like, I was in college. I was, there was my comfort, my orbit. I was 21. I wasn't going to pick up and move across the country because I was doing hair. It didn't seem like the smart decision for the way that my mind was programmed. So I ended up doing it. He ended up moving February 14th, and I ended up moving April 7th. 2009 and have been in their orbit ever since. And I took over as her primary hairstylist in 2017, February 2017, right after they left office. Started doing her color in 2012, I want to say. I started popping in as her colorist. So I did stand in, and I've done her for like smaller events, some larger events.
There's so many questions I want to ask you. What was a time where her hair that you had done had really been the topic of conversation?
Inauguration, President Biden's inauguration, 2021. That was
a whirlwind.
With the maroon outfit,
the burgundy Sergio Hudson outfit. That was probably like the most viral moment. And then shortly after that, a Becoming book tour, Essence cover, Essence Fest, when she started wearing her hair in more natural styles. Again, it was one of those things where you saw this evolution of who she was as First Lady, as to who she is as Michelle, a Black woman from the South Side of Chicago that was a working professional.
So let's talk about the First Lady, because obviously, like in professional settings, hair is a topic of conversation and can make and break opportunities for you.
Yes.
Being in the spotlight like that, how do you, what conversations are being had? What are you presenting when you're doing her hair?
A number of things. The conversation really for most of us, for most women in professional settings, is that their hair isn't the conversation, right? So you just want to fly under the radar, and you don't want to have a distraction, right? Like, it's the conversation that we all have. It's like, I just want to go to work. I want to be respected for whatever I'm saying, and I don't want there to be a distraction. It was always what you feel comfortable doing, we will execute. And I think that is the biggest thing. It wasn't overcalculated. It wasn't this thought out production or this thought out master plan of how we're going to do it. But we were intentional to make sure that she felt comfortable, because at the end of the day, she had to feel good so she could look good.
Was there ever a time where Mrs. Obama maybe wanted to go natural, or was there a conversation about her going natural during her time at the White House? And how did that go?
Well, she was natural.
I'm saying curly.
She wore her hair curly during the White House, but most of the time when she was on vacation. So it's it's just that it wasn't photographed, right? It was that she would wear her hair in a ponytail. She wore her hair in ponytails often. 4th of July, she wore her hair in ponytails for Halloween. You did see her change up her look, but and even for like, there was times in the White House, it was like a state dinner, maybe I'll say. She had an off the shoulder dress, and she had curly, like tighter curled hair.
Yeah.
So you did see different iterations of her hair, but more than anything, there was a consistency, right? She was a public figure. And with most public figures, not celebrities, with most public figures, you're going to see continuity in their look.
Yeah.
You want a recognizable look. And I'm sure similar to TV, you can't just change your hair because the followers or your audience is going to be like, well, who's that?
I do want to know, from a personal experience, what did you learn just observing how she was perceived?
So much. I saw a Black woman be ridiculed in every single thing that she did for just being who she was, right? So even when I think that a majority of Black women knew why she didn't wear her hair natural. There wasn't an expectation for her to wear her hair natural. There wasn't an expectation for her to wear her hair in braids. But I do think that they looked to her for that rite of passage. 2022, when she went into braids, everyone was like, okay, Michelle rocking braids, I'm gonna rock braids. You know, when she wore her hair curly, people were like, I feel more empowered to show up with curls or to not always straighten my hair. So I do think that there was a little bit of that. She, for me, allowed me to understand that you are good enough. And one of the things that she always talks about throughout all of her books, a lot of her podcasts, is that you get to these big tables and you realize that you are worthy. And for me, that aha moment really took place because everyone just says, you're just a hairstylist, right? Like, you just do hair. That was one of the things. And living in DC, more than anything, it's like the first question that they ask you was, what do you do? Right. And for the longest, I struggled to be like, oh, I'm a hairstylist. But I was working for one of the most powerful families in the world.
I would be like, in the Oval Office.
Right. But
just
that
drop it.
confidence,
So when I was talking to Mrs.
that
Obama,
confidence didn't come. That confidence wasn't there because you're always told that you're not good enough or that what you do isn't good enough. And that was something that she constantly said to everyone that she spoke with. And as a mentee of hers, that was one of the things that I was like, you're right.
I wonder did you have a moment where you just kind of like sat back and said, man, like it clicked, like I've made it, or this feels like a dream come true, a pinch me moment?
Yeah, there's definitely moments in retrospect. In the moment, it was work. It was work. You worked. And for me, it was always that it was bigger than me. It wasn't about me. It was about helping her look her best, feel her best to go out into the world, right?
Sorry, not to interrupt you. I just want to know, are you able to congratulate yourself though?
Now.
Okay.
Now.
No, I mean, that's common. So
No. Now I'm at a place where I'm like, oh, I did that. That was me. Like, I've worked for this. I deserve this. I should be celebrated. I should celebrate myself.
Yeah. I wonder, where did you get the confidence? Because I feel like you're a very confident person, but even at times when you look back and you're like, oh, I wish I could, shake my younger self. Where did you get the confidence to even put yourself in that position?
Ooh.
Because to me, I'm like, I would have been shaking doing Michelle's hair. Like, I don't know if I would be able to, like, that's a lot of pressure,
Definitely a lot of pressure. And you figure it out. I don't know if there's a place like I still to this day, every single time I work with her, a bride, any high pressure moment, my everyday client, there is this pressure that's like, could I have done better? What could have I done differently? Did I do this right? Should have I curled the hair this way? Should I use this product instead? I think with more experience and with age and maturity, you're just like, okay, it is.
On that note, though, I always like to know people who are really successful, who come off very confident. What was your biggest mess up? Like, I messed this up. There's no way about it.
I've butchered people's hair. I've definitely butchered some hair. And I knew that I butchered the hair in the moment. And it was like,
I think of That's So Raven, where she's like,
it was just one of those moments where it's just like, it is what it is, you know? And
keep going, yeah.
You just look back and it haunts you. It definitely haunts you because it's someone else's hair, right? It's someone else's identity. And as a woman of color, as a Black woman, I just know how much you ruin a girl's hair. You cut too much of her hair off. You damage it. It's a wrap. Yeah. It's a wrap for her. It's irreversible. And you are the reason why she now has trauma.
Oh, when you put it that way.
And that's a different type of weight. That's a different type of weight. And so it's not just with a highly visible client like Mrs. Obama. It's with your everyday client. And I've done some styles with Michelle that I'm like, ooh, that wasn't the best.
Well, it's also, I don't know if this has happened because I don't remember. You have the entire world to then look at your work and give their feedback.
Oh, I've gotten troll emails to the salon. I've gotten troll emails to my personal, Instagram. I mean, cyberbullying is real. People be in the DMs. Now I don't really care. With trolls, I'm like, let's go. I have the time today. But it took me a long time to get there because I'm like, why do I care about what you are saying to me? Because what do you look like? How do you present? How do you feel? And I'm happy. My number one thing I say is I'm happy to know that my life is putting me down is bringing joy and entertainment for you and brings you joy. So there's something incredibly wrong with your life and it's not me.
I do want to know the opposite though, because that inauguration look went viral and it deserved to. I remember seeing it and that's why it's still stuck in my mind. How did that feel? That was an aha moment. Yeah. It was one of those moments where you work so hard for a moment and you don't know when that moment will be. And it's just one of those things where for me, it was the feel good to say, I worked hard and I just did the work and kept my head down. Yeah. And then I finally got the recognition when I didn't think that I would. Yeah. It wasn't about me. I didn't think, got my hair braided. I was at the braid shop in DC.
Everyone on Twitter.
Everybody was on Twitter. My phone is blowing up. My emails are blowing up. I'm like, what is going on? What happened? And we all joked afterwards. They were like, what did you do differently? And I was like, nothing.
I think it was especially significant for you because unlike a lot of people, you don't lead with, I do Michelle Obama's hair. Like you've never been that way. People might stumble upon that if they do their research. And so it was, I looked at it like it was one of those moments where you were forced into the spotlight because somebody dug up who it was. They were like, who is it? Yeah, and once the name was out, it was a wrap. I remember I rushed to make appointments at the salon.
Jeanette be really trying to act like she doesn't have my direct number to call me.
She's over here on the website like, hold on, let's see. Booked until 27. I just don't want to be that person where it's like, yeah, now you and I go way back. Remember me? But I remember it blew up and it was well-deserved and it was a long time coming.
But there was pressure that came with it. There was pressure and expectations of the salon and how clients would come in and were like, well, I was expecting to get the First Lady treatment. And I'm like, well, what is the First Lady treatment?
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to all of these pressures that society puts on you and trying to live up to this expectation. So you struggle back with imposter syndrome and you figure out like, am I worthy? Am I good enough? Should I be validated? Did I deserve this moment and this recognition? And even in that moment, it was like, I had this feeling within me that it wasn't just about me because we are a team. There is a team that makes her that is on her glam squad, and it was about all of us in that moment. And even though, yes, her hair was the viral moment and it was the talk, I still felt like I had to share that moment with my counterparts because I wanted to make sure that we all got the recognition that we deserved.
Yeah, because it's not a competition. I feel like there is space for everyone. Yeah,
there is. There absolutely is.
Speaking of space, what appointments have you got available? Because I'm just kidding.
No, I wanted to ask you about Mrs. Obama's book.
Yes.
The Look. Just announced. The Look. And talk about cred and like being cemented in history. Tell us a little bit about the book, what it's about, and the role you play there.
So the book, it's called The Look by Michelle Obama with Meredith Coupe. It is tracking some of her most iconic looks. You get to meet her glam squad, myself, Carl Ray, Meredith Coupe, and Jerry Radway. You get some quotes from Johnny Wright, a lot of designers. So you get a little bit behind the scenes. Don't want to spoil too much and give anything away, but you can pre-order it. It comes out November 4th. I believe it comes out in November 2025. And it will be a wonderful coffee table book that I think she shares a lot of intimate moments between her hair journey, her wardrobe journey, her makeup journey, and how she identified and presented herself in this public spotlight.
Yeah. And Yene, if you could just plug your salon real quick.
Aesthetic Salon. We are located in Arlington, Virginia. I have a team of 12 amazing stylists who I love with all my heart. I feel like more than anything, my passion is always teaching and creating an environment for women to come and feel good about themselves. We ain't catty. We like each other. We hang out after work together. And so, yeah, if you are in the DMV area, reach out to us.
One thing you're willing to die on that like you swear by, like for example, coconut oil does not moisturize your hair. Something like that.
I mean, castor oil does not grow your edges. Does not.
A lot of people are going to feel...
I don't care. I stand by that.
A hair trend that needs to die.
Baby hairs. Bye.
Oh, why's that?
I don't like them.
Like,
you don't
wig
need
baby hair or like
all of
any
it.
baby
like
hair?
all of this, like combing it down, looking like you have eyelashes on your forehead. It needs to go. It's not good for your hair. It's not good for your scalp. It's not good for your forehead. It's just not cute.
I mean, but we got a lot of forehead. You got to...
I have a lot of forehead too, but it's okay. Just embrace it.
What's the most annoying thing a client can do while in your chair?
Not keep their head straight. So like when you're blow drying them and they're doing this, or like they do this or this or this or this all throughout. Just sit still and get your hair done.
Does the hands bother you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
she hates when I run my hair through my hair.
Because why? Why do I hate that?
Because you got oil on your hands and it gets on your...
Thank you. And does your hair not go flat faster?
I mean, but like...
Okay, so I'm not just saying it to say it.
No,
there's truth behind.
Yeah. Okay, the single most important thing you can do for healthy hair.
Trim your hair. Trim your hair every 6 to 8 weeks and it'll be a trim. Don't say that we like to cut your hair if you come in like twice a year, and don't do it at home on your own. Just don't. Just go to a salon.
The thing that's damaging your hair without you even realizing it.
Ponytails, your pillowcase.
Ponytails. That's actually a really good one. A lot of people put their hair in ponytails, wet ponytails, dry ponytails all the time. And they have like this little gap in the center of their hair. And it's because everything being put together and the tension. So yes, ponytails. That's a really good one.
One thing that makes your hair grow the fastest.
Shampooing it, surprisingly. A clean scalp.
So let's talk about the time where you cussed me out over something that was not my fault.
No. No, I did not cuss you out. I advocated for you. There's a difference.
You did. So the story is I'm not going to say who it was, but I was doing a commercial for a big brand. And it was so trippy because it was literally me reenacting. Like I was a TV anchor in front of a green screen at the anchor desk. And I get in, they see my curly hair. I just got my flexi rod.
She came the day before. She's like, I'm going to go shoot this commercial. I need a fresh set. Can you come in for me on any day you're not working? I said, yes.
Yeah.
And then?
And I go in there, love the hair. That's when you know something's going on. Love the hair. So it needs to be straight for this. It's not going to work. And I am crushed inside. And they're talking about like the green screen, it's just not going to read well on the green screen. I'm like, I worked in TV for over 10 years. We've had curly.
She said this to herself. She didn't say this out loud.
Yeah, no, like it was like in my head really loud though. And so...
Meanwhile, she's like,
Yeah, so I was like, let's get full context of the story.
And then she was like, can we find her a hair salon here in LA? And I'm like, immediately I'm being like triggered because I'm thinking heat damage. They're gonna mess up my hair. And even if they don't, I'm gonna look crazy.
This is what all Black women feel.
Oh my gosh.
All the
I'm
time.
the only Black person on set, behind the scenes, in the parking lot, everywhere, in that vicinity. I'm the only Black person. So if I don't do it, I look crazy.
No.
So I text you. And I'm like, hey, they want me to straighten my... Before I finish the text message, you call me. And they're waiting on me to tell them where I can go. Because I was like, my hairstylist can recommend somebody in LA because she's from this area, this, that, and the other. Okay, cool. They're all waiting there. I'm on the phone.
In the bathroom.
No, did I not tell you?
I thought you were in the bathroom because you called me a couple times.
No, there was one time in the bathroom, one time where I'm there and like... all of the execs.
Oh, this is when you were doing that.
Surrounding. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, girl, who is she
I've
around?
Before hearing it from a different perspective.
I'm like, who is she around?
I call her, or she calls me, and she's like, Jeanette, are you effing kidding me right now? You're gonna let them do that to you? Seriously? And I'm like, Yeah, so let me know where
Literally,
you
this is what she's doing. And I'm on the other end, enraged.
they're like, oh, it looks like she found somebody. And so I'm like, okay, let me know. You're like, Jeanette, seriously, do not let them do this to you. And I'm like, okay. So, and I hung up on you, I'm pretty sure.
She did. And then I started texting her. I was like, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, oh, what's the word? Like, I'm kind of like trying to like kill time while I muster up the courage to not say anything. They're like, all right, let us know who you find.
I did find
me somebody. Found me somebody. But it just felt, it was so weird because I'm like, it almost was like the universe or God was testing me because we had done so much progress while I was in TV news. Long story short, they had, you know this, they decide, your news directors, GMs, what color your hair is, the length, the hair part. I remember one time I was like, can I get a middle part? No, you can't do a middle part. The side part is what you got to do. And so finally I had kind of fought back in the industry to do that, to then be presented with the scenario. And I was like, if I give in, all of that will have been for nothing. All of the times that Yene went off on me will have been for nothing.
But I went off on you, not
lovingly,
just because I was annoyed that they asked you to straighten your hair. And I feel like that's just a ridiculous ask of you because you clearly presented yourself with curly hair for so long and they knew that's how you were coming. Yeah. So if they had specific asks of you, they should have said that prior to you coming, right? Because you could have came prepared. So problem number one. Problem number two was that they kept trying to push it off and be like, oh, it was the green screen. And you know better because you worked in TV. So I was like, Jeanette, now you know good and well that the green screen is a BS excuse and that should not be the reason. But you went along with it.
I did.
Until the end.
But in the end, I had pushed off enough and I looked, it was funny because the nail tech, she saw all this back and forth. And I asked her, what do you think I should do? Because they came back, I think they realized this isn't going to be a good look. And they were like, whatever you want to do, which almost makes it worse. I asked her when they left, what would you do? She's like, I would keep it curly.
Yes, and you did.
And I was like, why? And she said the exact, she was like, they dropped the ball, not you. That's not your problem.
Because this is when you were consistently curly. This isn't like going back and forth.
Yeah. And it was a particularly good flexi rod set. And so I ended up keeping it curly and taking the L on the makeup. So it was like a gray face, but the curls were
But even that,
popping.
This all goes back to the issue that I have. And like, it was a constant conversation while you were on air. Yeah. Is that like in anything that we do as Black women, we are always faced with trying to figure out how to present and to ensure that someone is there that knows how to do our hair, which is why so many people have trauma with their hair because they've gone to some place or they've been in a circumstance where someone can't do their hair, particularly people in TV and film. Yeah. Or actresses and celebrities or anything of that matter because there's no requirement.
And you know what's crazy? At the end, which is kind of sad, I still felt kind of bad. Like, I'm like, I got my way.
See, and that's the problem.
And that's why we got more work to do. So, like, are you free next week?
For what? You probably have to. Jeanette's the only person who literally books out, like, all of her appointments in advance at least 8 weeks. And then is like, but this came up. So can you actually come in like you did the other day? And you were like, I have somewhere to go. Is there any way you could do, like, a color transformation or, like, a 7-hour service for me in 2 weeks?
And she comes through. But I also drove from Philly. I would drive from Philly when I was there for 4.5 years because I couldn't find someone there. I'm sorry, Philly. Maybe I didn't find the right people. But it's okay. I would drive. I would work at 4 o'clock. No, I would wake up for work at 2:30 in the morning. And sometimes I'd have to take a Wednesday with you. So I would come down after work, after my noon shot, drive my 2.5, 4 hours with traffic, to get my weave done, 6 hours, to drive back just in time for me to get dressed, put my makeup on to go on air.
She's a real one.
Because that's how good her services are.
And this
was a commercial. I'm kidding.
But that's also—
It's not a commercial, this is our relationship.
But that also speaks to, you had to do all of that on top of being prepared for work.
Every single day.
Yes.
And you know that. Yes. The anxiety you would get, like, Lord, let it not rain when I'm out. Let me not, I can't get in the pool.
It would rain and I would get a text.
I would be freaking out. And that's why you would get hair damage. Like, it was literally, you could not win.
But I mean, Mona, you show up, slayed to the gods.
She's in a different, ABC was a
But it's like, I'm a full-time hairstylist, I'm a full-time makeup artist, a full-time everything. Because it's like, even, I was going to say, there's a guy at ABC, and I actually felt like I got pressured into it, because then they started getting offended. Like, why won't you? And I feel like stylists, yes, you should be confident in your work. But also sometimes y'all are overly confident in your work, right? Not you, obviously, but he had me in this chair. Once he started doing this flip motion with the flat iron, I was like, yeah, we're done. Yes, and I could just hear that crack.
Yep.
And I was like, all
There's
right,
a clack,
this
clack,
is,
clack.
yep. And you know you made a mistake.
Yeah. So all of that to say, because Lord, we've been through it. We don't look like what we've been through. But all of that to say, like, there are really, really good hairstylists out there.
There
And
are a lot.
The key is having someone who's educated, who's trained, who's open to growing and learning more, and will give you the hard truth.
And will also take criticism. Stylists, we gotta work on this. We have to let people criticize our work because sometimes your client knows better than you do. When it comes to their hair, you're in your hair. Even if I do your hair every week, you are in your hair 6 days.
It's a good note to end on.
It's a great note to end on. Yene,
love
thank
that.
you so much for your time.
Thank y'all for having
we love
me.
having you in the group chat.
Thank you
Yes.
for bringing me in.
Yes. And I'm a book too. Like a
Yes,
month
we
in
got to get
advance.
you in.
We're gonna get you right.
Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, right here on YouTube at Off the Record, and on Instagram at Off the Record Podcast. And we'll see you on the next one.